The morning fog draped across Huarong Plaza like a cold curtain hiding the city's cruelty. Li Qiyue's breath shook as she ran toward the Zhenhua Group tower, clutching her bag, her hair damp from the mist. Today was payroll day. Her mother's hospital bill depended on it. She whispered to herself between gasps. Li Qiyue, I can't be late. Not again, not today. The revolving door pushed her into a world she never felt she belonged in. Polished marble floors, glittering chandeliers, expensive perfumes drifting from people who earned more in a day than she did in a month. She rushed to the elevator, fingers trembling as she pressed the button. 12th floor. A world of sharks. A place where she was always the weakest. As soon as she stepped out, a voice like a blade slashed through the air. Manager Chen. Li Qiyue. Her heart dropped so fast she felt dizzy. She bowed automatically, eyes down. Li Qiyue. I'm sorry, Manager Chen, the bus. Manager Chen. Excuses. He slammed a folder into her chest. The papers exploded everywhere, spraying across the hallway like a public execution. Soft laughter stirred around her. Someone whispered, again. Another said, why is she even here? She knelt to the ground, knees pressing into the cold marble. She hurried to collect the papers, wiping her wet eyelashes secretly. Manager Chen leaned close, too close, his breath reeking of power misused. Manager Chen, girls like you should know their place. You come from nothing. Don't make us regret giving you a job. Her hands froze, and at that precise moment, the elevator behind them opened. Silent footsteps, cold presence, a shift in the air. Han Chen, the CEO, a man so unreachable that most employees only saw him in meetings or online announcements. Tall, sharp, silent, eyes colder than November wind. He stepped out, his gaze slicing across the floor, and then stopping. On her, on the girl kneeling on the ground, gathering fallen papers with shaking hands. On the manager towering above her. On the humiliation unfolding in his company. His jaw tightened. For 1 second, just one, the air felt dangerous. He didn't speak. He didn't help. He didn't intervene. But as he walked past her, he paused ever so slightly. A pause that carried weight. Enough that her breath caught. Then he walked away. Within minutes, Zhao Lihua, Han Chen's glamorous fiancée, arrived like a cold perfume cloud drifting across the floor. Her eyes immediately found Li Qiyue kneeling. Her lips curled. Zhao Lihua. This girl again. What an eyesore. Manager Chen puffed his chest. She was late. I was disciplining. Zhao Lihua. Then fire her. Right now. Those words struck like a hammer. Li Qiyue. Voice trembling. Please. I need this job. My mother, she. Zhao Lihua. That's not my concern. Manager Chen grinned with satisfaction. He slammed a pink slip on the counter. Manager Chen. You're fired. Pack your things. Her world collapsed inside her chest. She bowed, tears falling onto the pink paper. And as she left, once again, a pair of dark eyes watched her from the executive glass above. Han Chen, his expression unreadable. But something inside him had shifted, quietly. Hours later, in a dim supply room where she hid to cry, the door opened behind her. She gasped softly. Han Chen stood there. Tall. Silent. Cold. Han Chen. Raise your head. She did. Slowly, terrified. His voice carried no warmth, yet no malice. Han Chen. You were fired. She nodded weakly. Yes. Han Chen. For being late. It was only 10 minutes. Han Chen. And has Manager Chen mistreated you before? Her throat tightened. Yes. He stepped closer. The air shifted between them. Han Chen. Do you want your job back? Her breath hitched. Why, yes. He nodded once, like a final decision sealed. Han Chen. Follow me. She followed him into the open hallway, where he confronted Manager Chen in front of everyone. Employees froze. The air thickened. Han Chen. Why did you humiliate an employee publicly? Manager Chen stuttered. I was just. Han Chen. You insulted her background. Fired her without authorization. His voice never rose, but the chill of it made employees shiver. Han Chen. You are suspended. Leave immediately. Zhao Lihua marched forward. Zhao Lihua. Yichen. Why defend her? She's. Han Yichen. I wasn't speaking to you. A silence dropped heavy around them. Han Yichen turned to the staff. Han Yichen. Li Qiyue is reinstated. She will now work under me. Gasps. Shock. Fear. Jealousy. He walked away, and she followed, confused, breathless, shaken. Inside his office, he stood near the window, city light reflecting against his sharp profile. Han Yichen, I need a temporary assistant. You will help me. Her voice cracked. Me. Han Yichen. You. Start now. And so the girl who had been humiliated that morning now stood inside the CEO's office. Moments away from entering, Li Qiyue spent the next hours inside Han Yichen's executive office, each second feeling surreal. Just that morning she was crawling on the floor. Now she was standing behind the coldest CEO in the city, arranging files he personally handed her. Her hands moved quickly, but her mind felt foggy. Why me? Why help me at all? Why defy Zhao Lihua for me? But she didn't dare ask. Han Yichen sat behind his massive black marble desk, typing quietly. He didn't look up, yet she felt his presence. Sharp, commanding, impossible to ignore. When the clock hit noon, he suddenly spoke. Han Yichen, you will accompany me to the board meeting. She blinked, startled. Accompany you? His eyes lifted, cold, direct, and so deep she felt exposed. Han Yichen, was I unclear? She shook her head quickly. And no, I'll follow. He stood, adjusting his suit jacket. The shift in the air made her breath tighten. Even his movements felt controlled and powerful. As she walked behind him through the hallway, employees stared openly. Some in shock, some in jealousy, some in disbelief. Whispers floated around her. Why is she with him? Did she seduce the CEO? She must be lucky or dangerous. No way he chose her. Each whisper cut deeper than the last. Inside the boardroom, the executives stood respectfully. Han Yichen sat at the head of the long glass table. Li Qiyue stood behind him, clutching her notebook. Halfway through the meeting, someone requested tea. She rushed to pour it, but her hand shook, and a single drop landed on the saucer. Just one, but enough to send her heart into panic. She whispered, Li Qiyue, I'm sorry. She waited for anger, shouting, humiliation. But Han Yichen simply glanced at the cup and said, Han Yichen, it's fine. Continue. The simplicity of those words struck her harder than any insult ever had. No one had ever told her it's fine. Not in years. Not in her whole adult life. Something warm bloomed in her chest. Confusing, fragile, almost painful. After the meeting, she walked one step behind him toward the elevator. The doors closed, sealing them inside a quiet mirrored box. Her reflection looked small next to his tall silhouette. She stared down. She wanted to thank him, but words tangled inside her throat. He looked ahead, expression unreadable. But she didn't know. He had noticed everything. The shaking of her hands, the bruises on her wrist from earlier, the humiliation she endured in silence. When the elevator reached the lobby, he suddenly spoke. Han Yichen, report to my office again after lunch. She nodded quickly. Yes, CEO Han. She walked off, and he watched her disappear into the hallway, a tiny figure carrying silent burdens. His jaw clenched. He hated injustice, and what he saw this morning had stayed with him like an irritation he couldn't shake. But he didn't understand why it bothered him so much. As he headed back upstairs, Assistant Sue approached nervously. CEO Han, Miss Zhao is waiting in your office. Han's expression hardened. He pushed open the door to find Zhao Lihua seated on his couch, legs crossed, looking perfectly composed, except for the jealousy burning behind her eyes. Zhao Lihua! Yichen, we need to talk. Alone. His annoyance was immediate. Han Yichen, if this is regarding the intern. Zhao Lihua, it is about her. Her voice cracked with anger she tried to hide. Han remained still. Han Yichen, what about her? Zhao Lihua rose, eyes sharp. Zhao Lihua, she's beneath us. She doesn't belong here. And you know it. Han's gaze cooled to frozen steel. Han Yichen, her status is irrelevant. Her work is what matters. Zhao Lihua scoffed. Zhao Lihua, you're defending her now? A poor girl who can't even afford proper clothes? You embarrass me in front of everyone just because of her. Han stepped back, voice cold. Hani-chen, I spoke the truth. She stared at him, wounded, furious, humiliated. Her voice softened into a trembling whisper. Zhao Lihua, when did you start caring about another woman? The question made the room feel tight. Han said nothing. Silence was louder than any denial. Zhao Lihua swallowed, rage forming into tears she refused to shed. Zhao Lihua, this isn't over. Her heels struck the marble with sharp anger as she left. Han exhaled, tension coiling beneath his ribs. Meanwhile, Li Qiyue walked toward the executive cafeteria, the cheapest soup on the tray, hands still shaking from the morning. She sat in a corner, head bowed. People around her whispered again. That's the girl the CEO defended. No way she lasts. She'll be eaten alive up there. She must have something on him. She pressed her trembling fingers together. Li Qiyue, softly to herself. Just stay quiet, do your job and survive. But someone sat in front of her. Someone she never expected. A graceful woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. Madame Han, Hani-chen's mother. Li Qiyue jolted upright. Oh, Madame Han. I didn't know. Madame Han laughed softly. You look terrified, child. Relax. I simply wanted to join you. Qiyue blinked in shock. Madame Han gently held her hands. Madame Han, you're the girl who helped my son today, aren't you? Qiyue shook her head quickly. No. He's the one who helped me. Madame Han smiled knowingly. Madame Han, my son may be cold, but he doesn't involve himself with just anyone. If he brought you here personally, it means something. Qiyue's cheeks burned. No, it's nothing like that. I'm just grateful he gave me another chance. Madame Han looked at her deeply, as if she could see the pain Qiyue hid. Madame Han, you're strong. I can tell. Don't let anyone make you feel small. For the first time that day, Li Qiyue felt seen, felt human, felt valued. After lunch, she returned to Han's office. He glanced at her briefly, and for a split second, something softened in his eyes. He reached for a file. Hani-chen, start with this. Their fingers brushed. A spark shot through her. She withdrew quickly, heart thundering. Han's expression didn't change, but his pulse quickened for the first time in years. They worked silently for hours, but beneath that silence, something invisible began tightening between them. Something neither of them understood, but both of them felt. When evening fell, Qiyue handed him the final document. He stared at her for a long moment. Too long. Hani-chen, you worked hard today. Her breath hitched. Thank you. Then he stepped forward, one measured step, decreasing the space between them. His voice dropped. Hani-chen, if anyone mistreats you again, tell me first. Her eyes lifted slowly, meeting his. She nodded. I will. They walked out of the building together, into the cool night breeze. But just as Li Qiyue reached the steps, a black car parked across the street flashed its headlights. Once, twice, someone was watching her, someone waiting, and danger slowly began circling her life. The street lamps glowed warm against the cold evening wind as Li Qiyue stepped outside the massive Zhenhua Tower. Her hands tightened around her worn-out bag, and she breathed out slowly, trying to settle the chaos of her day. But then, a black car across the street flashed its headlights. Once, twice, she stopped walking. Her pulse flickered like a dying flame. The windows were pitch black, too dark, too still. No movement inside, just watching. A sinking feeling curled in her stomach. She stepped back on instinct. At the same moment, the glass doors behind her opened. Hani-chen stepped out, coat over his arm, expression sharp, eyes narrowing the moment he saw the black car. Hani-chen, don't move. His voice was low, controlled, but it carried urgency she had never heard before. He walked forward, placing himself slightly in front of her. Not obvious protection, but enough that she could feel the barrier between her and whatever waited across the road. The car's engine roared suddenly. Lights flared. Then it sped away, tires screeching against the concrete. Gone in seconds. Only silence remained. But it wasn't peaceful. It was the kind of silence that leaves questions hanging like sharp knives. Yichen turned to her. His eyes were dark, deeper than she'd ever seen. Yichen, did you see that car before? She shook her head quickly. No, never. He held her gaze, quiet, but intense. Yichen, if something feels wrong, if you feel watched, you tell me immediately. Her breath trembled in the cold air. CEO Han, why would anyone watch me? He didn't answer. Because he knew, or at least he suspected, but he didn't want to frighten her. Instead, he took a small breath and straightened. Yichen, I'll have someone escort you home. She panicked, stepping back. No. They'll think I don't want to trouble anyone. He cut her off gently but firmly. Yichen, this is not negotiable. The way he said it, it wasn't cold. It wasn't harsh. It was protective. The kind of protectiveness no one had ever given her. A black business car pulled up moments later. The driver bowed to Yichen, then opened the door for Li Qiyue. She hesitated. Qiyue looked back at the CEO standing beneath the lights. Tall, unreadable, but not indifferent. Not tonight. She bowed slightly and entered the car. As it drove away, Yichen watched the taillights until they vanished. His phone vibrated. He picked it up. A cold voice spoke on the line. Voice. Sir, the car watching Miss Li earlier, the plates are unregistered. His jaw tightened. He knew exactly who would do something like this. Zhao Lihua. Or worse, her father. But he couldn't accuse them without proof. Still, a chilled anger began brewing inside him, silent but fierce. Meanwhile, Li Qiyue sat quietly in the car, staring at her trembling hands. Work humiliation. Firing. CEO confrontation. A strange watcher. His mother's kindness. And Yichen's protectiveness she could still feel echoing through her chest. Everything was too much. When she reached home, her tiny apartment felt even smaller. Her mother lay asleep on the old sofa, breathing softly. Qiyue knelt beside her, brushing hair from her forehead. Li Qiyue. Soft whisper. I'll be okay, Mom. I'll protect us somehow. Her voice cracked, but she held herself together. She always did. She changed clothes and sat on the small balcony, staring at the night sky. The cold air brushed her skin. And she remembered the way Yichen stood in front of her. Wordlessly, instinctively. Like someone who didn't think twice before protecting her. But she forced herself to shake the thought off. He was the CEO. She was nothing. There was no world where the two of them should even speak. And yet, today happened. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring. She didn't know who was watching her. She didn't know why Yichen kept stepping closer. All she knew was that her life was no longer the quiet, invisible struggle it used to be. Everything was shifting. The next morning, as she entered Jinhua Group, whispers swirled around her again. She's back. The CEO must really like her. No one gets suspended for interns. This girl is dangerous without knowing it. She ignored them. She just needed to survive the day. But when she reached the executive floor, Yichen was already standing outside his office, waiting. For her. She froze. He didn't look impatient or annoyed. He looked like a man who had already made a decision. Yichen, you're late. She panicked. I'm so sorry. The bus. His lips twitched. Barely. A controlled, impossible to read twitch. Yichen, I'm aware. The bus was delayed this morning. Sit. She blinked. He had checked the bus schedule. She sat across from him, hands folded neatly. He watched her for a long moment. Yichen, today stay close. Don't wander far. Her eyebrows knit. Okay. But inside she wondered. Why was he being like this? Why the sudden protectiveness? Why the sudden involvement? She didn't realize that Yichen himself didn't know the exact reason. He only knew what he felt. He didn't want danger near her. He didn't want her humiliated again. He didn't like seeing fear in her eyes. And he didn't want anyone, not Zhao Lihua, not her father, not anyone, to touch her. He couldn't explain it. He didn't want to explain it. His voice broke the silence. Yichen, I'll arrange a company ID upgrade for you. You'll have executive-level access from today onward. She stared at him, speechless. Executive access. Interns didn't get that. Even regular staff didn't get that. Her lips parted slowly. "CEO Han. I don't deserve." He cut her off quietly. "Hani-chen, you deserve better than what you've received." Her heart clenched. Before she could speak, the phone on his desk buzzed. He picked it up. His expression darkened instantly. "Hani-chen, I'll handle it. Secure the building entrances, yes. Every one of them." He hung up. Qiyue swallowed nervously. "Is something wrong?" He looked at her. His eyes colder, sharper, more protective than she had ever seen. "Hani-chen, yes." He stood, adjusting his suit jacket, then walked toward her, stopping close, too close, just inches from her. His voice was low, direct, unmistakably protective. "Hani-chen, from this moment onward, you are not safe." Her breath froze. "But—" He leaned a little closer. "Hani-chen, I won't let anything happen to you." Her heart pounded, so loud she thought he could hear it. She opened her mouth to answer. But before she could, Hani-chen's phone rang again, sharp and urgent. He answered immediately. His eyes sharpened. His tone dropped. "Hani-chen, what did you just say?" "She is here." Inside the building. Qiyue's blood ran cold. He ended the call slowly, turned to her, and spoke the words that would change everything. "Hani-chen, Li Qiyue, Zhao Lihua is coming." The air froze. The danger stepped closer. And tomorrow, everything would ignite.